It's your numerical lion here, and I wanted to talk about these wildfires. And I'll play this video here. There's been over 100. This guy's calling them plasma fires in Israel. Very peculiar fires in Israel. Check out this guy. His name is Jeff Snyder, to his channel. He's going to play a snippet of Brush Junkie, which I really like their stuff too. So let's listen to this. Watch it as well.
Okay, and then should I go into the trees?
Sure.
Okay, so someone sent really good footage of these olive trees that were on fire.
Yeah, you can see the inside there is actually burned from the inside out.
These trees are burning from the inside out.
Outside, actually, some of the bark looks fine. And now this one, you can see the top has fallen over. This is an olive tree. All of the leaves are actually still completely untouched, which is really strange because it's laying on the ground, which should have been on fire. However, you see the inside of the trunk is burned almost all the way inside of the ground, like almost underground there. And then here's another one. You can see holes right through the tree, which is really strange. And then there's one more there that you can see is burned all the way at the base, like into the ground practically. And it's burned only on the inside and not on the outside.
And for those that are a little new.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to play this video by Jeff Snyder 2. That's his name of his channel here, Jeff Snyder 2. And this was the first part of his video. And this is a video he did about a year ago about these Samvartaka fires. I'm not sure how to spell it, but Samvartaka, different spelling. Anyway, and how unusual these fires are. And I know in this community, perhaps we're thinking they're directed energy weapons. Perhaps there's some kind of weapon, but perhaps they're not. I'm not sure. I'm open to that.
Two things that I'm going to show you a duplicate of here. One, that the top part of the tree had fallen over, the leaves were unburned, and the tree only burned from the center. And two, you heard him saying, it looks like it burned all the way down into the ground. Here's a couple minutes from a video titled New Samvartaka Fire Dynamics, Vaporized Root Systems, Shattered Rocks, and other stuff. We're just going to watch a couple minutes of this and then get back to the Brush Junkie coverage of the Israel fires. Come out here and doing some plasma hunting with my new buddy Sean and Shane. And I'm going to show you how the roots are vaporized. Notice this tree on the right as we're about to pass it. I'm going to show you 3 or 4 different examples where the limbs are laying on the ground. Look right in this area as we walk past and you'll see it. There's much more clearer examples of it, but just wanted to draw your attention to that. You'll see all the limbs laying on the ground and the center of the tree is burned out. Almost like a bomb explodes from the center of the tree. Come out here and doing some plasma hunting with my new buddy Sean and Shane. And I'm going to show you how the roots are vaporized. I've never actually pointed it out directly in a video before, but this tree right here, that's the whole base of it from right here. And you can see where the roots were. Let me turn some light on. Here, come around the camera.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna stick my hand back in there and show them that these are once roots of this whole tree, where the roots are vaporized and missing, completely disappeared all the way back into the ground. All the way around. These are all root holes. And I pointed this out secondhand in the aftermath of a video I've taken. Hopefully I don't get bit by a snake. But that's what those are, is missing roots, because the tree that was this big around, and it still has leaves left on the end. So it's highly burned here, completely blown out there, with the roots vaporized from the electricity that comes from the ground up. Yet right here, the wood is unburned, and right here, the unburned foliage. Yet the underground, the roots literally get vaporized. There's not even ash in there where they once were. Here you can see the difference between how burned it is at the bottom and all of the unburned still having leaves at the top. And this part of the tree has come down, all highly burned at the center. Fire don't do that. Hollowed out on the inside, just like that tree that we looked at where the roots were missing. This was all part of the inside of the tree. So it looks like this place got hit with a bomb, not a forest fire. Like a bomb blew up in the center of that tree and blew all of these limbs outward. Does that not look more like a bomb than a fire? So this is a filtration device of consciousness. Most people walk through and all they see is fire. Here's a second example of the same thing, where the center of the tree got hit and exploded the limbs in every direction. Again, still with foliage, so you know it wasn't flames. And that's where the roots were on this one. I could stick my hand in clear up to my elbow.
All right, that's crazy. The roots were disintegrated due to these quote-unquote fires. So I looked it up on the calculator because, I got to do that. And Samvartaka has this number of 107 and 26, the God number, and 163, the 38th prime, like fire is 38. And if you write in Samvartaka fire, you get this God number as well, or fires. I also get 56, which is a pretty classic number. And then I wanted to look up a little bit more according to Google. In Hinduism and Jainism, whatever that means, Samvartaka or Sandvartaka is a divine force or power normally used by the deity Indra, described as being a cloud of energy or fire. The force is used to destroy or to spoil that which displeases Indra. And if you look on Wikipedia, they say the same thing. So in the epic Vana Parva, this is just from Wikipedia, Indra calls forth Samvartaka to settle a dispute between himself and Krishna. In the epic, a jealous and prideful Indra sends the cloud to flood the lands of Vrindavan and stopped by Krishna. So in book 3 of the Vana Parva, the hero Yudhishthira prays to the sun, asking the celestial body to let the fire Samvartaka, born of thy wrath, consumeth the 3 worlds in existence alone. So, an inauspicious wind will consume the earth. So, let's see. In the works of Garga, Samvartaka is described as a devastating, energetic force that will arrive as one of 2 comets. In the sage's words, like the stellar wheel rotating. The comet wheel also repeats in the sky. At the end of 1,000 years, at the end of the comet strand, 2 comets, Dahuma and Samvartaka, appear together. Garga writes these twin comets will cause earthquakes and meteorite showers that will sunder the mountains and the oceans. He notes that Samvartaka will be the more devastating of the 2, as it will be responsible for reducing the world. So some look at it as a comet, end of the world scenario. Let's go on with this a little bit more. This is from Jeff Snyder.
That actually might be where a branch protruded, so that doesn't quite count as a root burn. But either way, yeah, it's definitely got the same pattern as this other one where it's burnt at the bottom and looks more like a bomb exploded at the center of the tree, blowing all the branches outward, leaving the leaves on the ends. Link will be in the description to that one. You can watch the rest of it, titled New Samvartaka Fire Dynamics. Now back to the ones in Israel that have the same patterns.
I'll show some stills, and Shane, if you could just kind of, if there's something that you wanted to point out.
Yeah, these are stills from the video we just watched. And on the left is the olive leaves touching the ground, which are completely 100% unburned. And then we have the trunk of that same tree in the middle image. And this middle panel shows that it definitely burned from the inside out. And there's even sections, areas of bark on the outside, which are practically unburned and maintain their original color. This is very strange, and I do agree with Robert about it being conducted through the vascular system of the tree. So that's the most water-loving part of the tree, and we do know that water molecules are not only electrically conductive, but they're also susceptible to electromagnetic frequencies in the microwave range. It will cause them to oscillate and create friction heating, and that's one way that they spark on fire that way. The other way is electrical conductivity. So if you've ever seen a tree that got struck by natural lightning, it will conduct that lightning through the most vascular portion of the tree. And that looks very similar to what has happened here.
All right, and I'm gonna show the olive trees from Greece that we saw. Was it in 2024 or 23?
This was in July of 2023. This was right about 3 weeks before the Lahaina fire.
Okay. Yeah, it looks very similar. And it doesn't look like, the leaves and the branches don't look like they're on fire.
Yeah, this middle panel is very telling, actually. You can see leaves are actually touching the ground while the inside of the tree is on fire, but the leaves themselves have not yet ignited, and they probably will not ignite. Even though olive trees contain olives and olive oil. It's a rather heavy oil-producing tree, and so the leaves should actually be quite flammable.
All right, good point there. And then this is from Lahaina, kind of a well-known image, again, of the inside burning more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, I'm going to move.
I'll leave the link to the Brush Junkie video in the description. You can watch the rest of it. But one of the things they point out is that there were fires in at least 100 different locations.
Okay, let's look at some of the gematria here. April 30th, that's when this happened. So, April 30th, to see if this anything. It is the anniversary of the founding of Israel. May 14th, 1948. Huh. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. It's some sort of Israel thing. May 14th is coming up. I heard that somewhere. Anyway, April 30th. What is the significance of April 30th? Let's check it out here. So April 30th, we got 79, a murder number, 59 as well, death. See any fire numbers per se? Oh, this is when they started. April 30th, Israel and the occupied West Bank experienced major fires around Jerusalem. At least 100 different locations through the Judean mountain area. Evacuation's been happening. Play a little bit of this.
Which they've only arrested, they say they've arrested 18 suspects. That's sure a lot of fires per suspect, but anyone who's been watching this channel knows that people can't do that, and fire doesn't do that.
So 18, a very lucky number in Judaism. And also 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18.
And they cover some information Robert Brame has to say on the subject, that all the plenty of liquids moving up and down the inner workings of the trunk. And of course, that's what's on fire, the electrical currents going through the whole vascular system. And you notice there's nothing else on fire anywhere, not even grass of any kind, just dirt. And they're proceeding to lay down the narrative that the Stinny men are the ones behind it. This guy warned that more fires could be ignited by Palestinians unless lockdowns begin. A far-right Israeli lawmaker demanded a curfew on Palestinian villages in Judea and Samaria. A Hamas-linked channel called for arson in forests near communities on Israel's Independence Day. Quote, "All you have to do is burn," Hamas calls to set fires in Jerusalem, West Bank. Well, let me tell you something. They wouldn't have spent generations acquiring massive weaponry to use against their enemy if it was as easy as using a lighter on a windy day. A resident of Tubal was arrested after allegedly attempting to ignite an open field in southern Jerusalem. Officers from the Jerusalem district responded immediately to a report from a civilian who spotted the suspect. Upon seeing the police, he tried to flee but was caught after a short pursuit. A lighter, cotton, and additional incendiary materials were found in his possession. Again, if waging war on your enemy was as easy as using a lighter and some tissues, and they showed you that in the previous video I put up, an image of the napkins and the tissues, that's the cotton that was in his pocket along with a lighter. If it was that easy, they wouldn't have spent generations accumulating massive weaponry.
Right. These are crazy. Fires can't be caused by mankind, just how they are. It's just like, that's not somebody going around committing arson. What is arson in gematria? Let's look. Arson. Arsonist. It's interesting. Arsonist 56, like Samvartaka fire. Oh wait, something was 56. What was it? Oh, arsonist 101, the 26 prime, and Samvartaka equals 26. So they're trying to pin this on the arsonists. Alright, so that's what I have for you. I just thought I'd talk about this Samvartaka thing that's going on. Perhaps uncontrollable. Perhaps it is some secret weapon. This guy, Jeff Snyder, he talks about how it's a change in the magnetic field, and it's influencing the ground current. And in another video, he talks about these burnt trenches. Anyway, check out his channel. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'm out. Talk to you later, everybody.